Voice from the Wall tells the story of the St. Clair family in Lena, the daughter's point of view. Ying, the mother of Lena, has undergone many catastrophic events in her life, and she buries these in efforts to forget the memories. However, this affects her relationship with everyone that she loves, but mostly it affects Lena. The chapter opens with her grandfather's story. When I was little, my mother told me my great-grandfather had sentenced a beggar to die in the worst possible way, and that later, the dead man came back and killed my great-grandfather. In my mind, I saw the executioner sentence the man to die, the death of 1,000 cuts. A few days later, my great-grandfather saw the same man. As the sword was cutting me down, said the ghost, I thought this was the worst I would ever have to endure, but I was wrong. The worst is on the other side. And the dead man pulled him through the wall to show him what he meant. This was a figurative story that was meant to express how death is the absolute worst thing. And if you're suffering immensely, but are still living, you haven't hit rock bottom. As a child, Lena once ventured to try and discover her mother's past and gain a deeper understanding. Figuratively, this is represented through a locked basement door. Due to previous unhealthy relationships, her mother lashes out with fear, preferring isolation and unconfrontation. When their family moved to a new apartment in San Francisco, Lena's mother felt many stress factors. She felt an OCD-like urge to continually rearrange the furniture, later found to be attributed to her new pregnancy. However, Ying was engulfed in negative energy and would constantly analyze the apartment. With what Lena called her Chinese eyes, she saw devils dancing feverishly beneath a hole she had dug in the sandbox, and lightning that had eyes, searching to strike down little children. Ying's frightful nature influenced Lena to be fearful and hallucinate potential harms that were never there.
At night, Lena finds she's able to listen through her bedroom apartment wall and overhear the Sorcy family next door. Repeatedly for many nights, she hears violent arguments and fights between a daughter and a mother. Lena realizes that not knowing when, if ever, a horrible thing will stop is the most terrifying idea to her. When Ying moved to America, her husband was married to her at the time and helped her with immigration papers, but at the same time, he altered her name and birth year. In doing so, he detached Ying from her Chinese culture and values, which found significance in zodiac animals derived from birth years. Mr. St. Clair continues to act with good intentions, but results with a false sense of communication. Due to the language barrier, Lena occasionally translates her mother's words, but for the majority of the time, he takes liberties to put words in her mouth and make up her own meanings. When the baby was born, the St. Clairs were struck with the reality that this baby's eyes were wide open and its head was open too. They could see all the way back and there was nothing there. And then this baby's large head seemed to fill with hot air and rise up from the table. It looked right through Ying and she could see everything inside her. She despaired over how she had given no thought to killing her other son into having this baby. Ying was faced with one of her greatest fears in the worst way. In her previous unhealthy relationship, she had a baby with the father who abandoned her while pregnant. This is where her strange fear of babies stems from and causes this incident with the baby to have a profound effect on Lena's mother. After this failed delivery, Ying's overall condition plummeted even further, not all at once, but piece by piece, like plates falling off a shelf one by one. The falling apart of the father also happened because he had lost what seemed like two people, both his child and his wife. He attempted to be an adequate supporter, but felt like he was failing, so he descended like he were running to catch things before they fell, only he would fall before he could catch anything.
While Lena listened to the Sorcy family through the thin walls, she always felt immense sympathy and sadness, believing that such a confrontational and angry relationship could not possibly be ideal for anyone. Lena and Ying's relationship is the complete opposite of the Teresa and Mrs. Sorcy's. Lena was always non-confrontational and full of empty explanations, while Teresa's always seemed chaotic and consisted of many full-blown arguments. However, Lena listens in amazement as she hears how voices of reconciliation and real explanations fully resolve the conflicts between Teresa and her mother. From this, Lena learned an important lesson, hoping that she could apply this to her own relationship with Ying. Lena realizes that her own relationship causes a different kind of chaos, one that has the capacity to be more destructive and personally damaging. With this knowledge in mind, Lena hopes to save her mother from falling deeper into the self-destructive chasm. The symbol of the wall represents the point where one chooses between two paths and ways of living. On one side of the wall, we have the choice that results in Ying's despair. Lena's mother feels like she has hit rock bottom and cannot see herself rising from this low point. On the other side of the wall, we have Lena's promising hope, discovered by witnessing Teresa and Mrs. Sorcy's outward conflict that resulted unexpectedly in embrace and true forgiveness. She saw how blatant confrontation allowed for them to move on with their lives.